Unbelievable. We're back, baby. It's been I feel like I do this every like 3 months. I do the same. We're back, baby.
Yeah.
We missed the last two, I believe, because just life happens. And this, like, I'm going to be honest with you. I need this winter to end yesterday. Like I am.
Yep.
I've never been over it. Like I'm over it this year. Like I'm just. It feels like it hasn't. Like at most, there's been 2 or 3 days off where it hasn't snowed. At most, I got to move this up. I realize I'm looking down.
It was like 40, 50 degrees, and then now we're what, 3 to 6 inches we're supposed to get tonight? Like it's a joke.
And then like
I'm
ice.
done with it.
So then you get ice too. So yeah, I'm over it. I can't. But we did get the Winter Olympics this year. So and we missed it because we were away. And I really want to get Matt's take on the U.S. men's hockey team winning and the U.S. women's hockey team winning. The only reason I don't bring that up is because it's kind of like, they're just taking care of business. I feel like the U.S. women's hockey team, and Matt, you answer both. Take this wherever you want to go with it. But I feel like the U.S. women's hockey team is approaching how good the U.S. women's soccer team is, and like how awesome they are, and that you just expect them to do what they did in this tournament. But go wherever you want to go with the men's game or the women's team. Go.
Well, the women's team was historically dominant this year. I mean, it was like something like 28 goals to 1 before they got to the finals throughout the preliminary and the playoffs until the finals. And then that finals, did you guys watch the finals, the women's final?
My goodness. I watched the end of it.
It was so
all I saw was
compelling. And I mean, it was just great hockey. And, Canada, you got to give them credit. They were playing their butts off, but you kind of knew that the ice was tilted and they were, anytime the team scores with the extra skater on after they've pulled the goalie is just exciting.
You're in trouble.
And for Hillary Knight to do it as the, retiring captain who's been to 5 Olympics on the team. And that historically the U.S. women's team has not done well against the Canadians in the Olympics. I think they were 2-3 or 2-4 against them. Maybe even 2-5. And so now for them to win that in the overtime and that overtime move by Megan Keller as a defenseman, what a great stretch pass from behind the goal line and just to pull that toe drag and then tuck it under the blocker. Oh, it's just so nice. And I love the Olympics are just that pure joy of winning. And I don't know if we talked about this before, but winning a silver medal in a team sport in the Olympics must suck because you don't win the silver medal, you lose the silver medal. You know what I mean?
You lose the gold. You don't.
Yeah, there you go. That's a better way to put it. And so I can't. The way they looked at that silver medal, it looked like somebody handed them a dead puppy. It was awful. And so I was so psyched, and then I was scared to death of the U.S. men's team. That game, I was afraid it was going to be a blowout, and they hung tough, and that was a great game. That's a lot of talent on that Canadian team, and then to win that in overtime, I was like, if we're going to win, we have to win in the first minute of overtime because the Canadians just have too much talent to have 3-on-3 on the ice like that, and the risks they were taking to overcommit to forechecking on a 3-on-3, it was just so exciting. And then Jack Hughes takes a stick to the face, loses half his teeth and then scores the overtime winner. And it's just the iconic photo of him with all the, snaggle tooth and just bloody lips, screaming. It was just awesome. It was so good. I was just so thrilled. It's good things for hockey. Good things for hockey. And I kind of,
I did. Yeah.
What were we going to say, Matt? Hold on.
I was just going to say, I kind of forgot the NHL was happening. No, I was like, I kind of forgot the NHL was happening, and then it was over, and I was like, oh yeah, we still have a third of a season left, and the Bruins are in a tight playoff race, and it's going to be interesting. And Sidney Crosby got hurt, so does that mean the Penguins are going to fall off? And it was just really compelling. I loved it, and not to mention all the other sports; they were awesome too. So,
I didn't even realize how quick it was. I was sports betting on college basketball, but I didn't realize that I could bet on NHL right away. Right after the Olympics, I was like, they're right back on the ice wearing their NHL uniforms. I did not expect that at all, but it was a sick game. What I thought was crazy is Nathan McKinnon, we talked about talent, has that wide open goal and completely doesn't even go off the post. like hits the back net. Like that was insane. And then I don't know the names well enough, but then there's that amazing shot where it's like the leaning back save with his stick. Like that was nuts. And then our guy McAvoy getting in the goal like fists on the ice, like basically looking like a gorilla back there. Like that was sick. Like it looked like everybody on the roster was like, we're winning this gold, like no question, and they were putting their body on the line, which is dope. And like I'll hate on my own sports. We don't see that in basketball. Like it's sad that people don't really care as much when they're playing. So it's cool to see that. A question I have though, you mentioned Crosby. If he plays, is it a different game, or is it like still, do you think same game?
I think it's
because I know he's older, but it's still like their captain and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe he does something. He's not the same player that he was 5-10 years ago. So like I think this would be my point, and I think it kind of touches on what you're saying. I actually like that it happened this way, and I want to be very clear that I love America, and I'm so happy the U.S. men's hockey team won. The better team did not win this game. I mean, the better team, not even close. Not even like, and that to me, if you're Canadian, you must be so salty.
Oh yeah,
because like, Crosby would have made them a little bit better, I guess. I get that. Like, I'm not saying that he's a bum at this point in his career. He would have made him, but like. Canada kind of dominated that game for like long stretches, and Hellebuyck was just like, not tonight.
He was not
tonight.
Which is great for Hellebuyck because that's his knock, is that he can't win. He's a great regular season goaltender. He's terrible in the playoffs, which is historically true.
Yeah. PK Subban came on right after the game on ESPN. It was like, couldn't have been Canadian PK Subban. Couldn't have been better about it. There's a lot of Canadians who are salty on social media.
Did you hear McKinnon's comments afterwards?
Yeah,
you watch that game and tell me the better
team
won.
Yeah. That's not how it works, though. That's not
No.
how it works. Like, it doesn't work in the Stanley Cup Finals. It doesn't work in the NBA Finals. It doesn't work in the Super Bowl all the time, although sometimes it does. Sometimes it is the way it plays out. That being said, it's just that doesn't matter. Sorry, McKinnon. This is just not how it works. Finish, dude. Figure it out. Like, if you guys are so much better, then you only have yourselves to blame, which I think is true. But good for the Americans. They hung in. They found a way to do it. And they win it. And it was awesome. And I saw that, of course, it was the Kachuk brothers have a podcast, I guess.
Shocking.
Of course, they're like great human beings on the podcast because they're just like, hockey players. Assholes on the ice. And then off of it, they're just like decent dudes. But Hellebuyck was on the show, and he brought down the stick. And he was like, I got it upstairs. It was like basically with his luggage. And they were like, we heard that you could see where the puck hit, where you saved it. And he's like, yeah. And he brought it down, and he's like, this is it, right? He's like, this is where it hit, right? And there's like an outline of a puck.
That's awesome.
Like, dude, what? I think Panthers Kachuk. He's like, that's not Keith.
That's
Keith. Brady's the other. Oh, Matt. Sorry.
Matt.
Keith's the dad. I can't get them all straight. Matt, yeah. So Matt says, what are you doing, dude? Like, that should be in a vault right now. Like, it can't be like upstairs on your bedroom floor. Like, that's just not a thing. Like, but that's just hockey players, right? Like, he just got back, threw his stuff in his room, and he's got the gold-winning hockey stick that's got this amazing mark on it. Just hang out. He also said that, like, they were talking. I thought it was really cool. Like, the background, there's like a divot in the stick. And he was like before he made that save, he looked down. He's like, I think my stick might be broken. We might have a problem. And but didn't end up replacing it. All these things that are like, it's just so cool that it went down that way.
It is so cool.
All right, that's Tyler Besman, and I don't know what the Swan hat, like
Swannies.
Swannies, okay. And
that's actually
Matt
the name of the brand.
I'm Steve Medge. This is Screen the Screener. I don't think my voice is going to last. Here we go. Tyler, talk about college basketball while I try to get my composure.
Yeah, my biggest thing college basketball wise is, and I've learned a lot, way too much in the last 2 months, is that you cannot trust a ranked team in this country at all. Which it tees up perfectly for March Madness right around the corner. Like, that's what we want to see. We want to see sort of the underdogs, the small schools perform and beat these top dogs. But betting wise, it has not been a lot of fun at all. But at least college basketball wise, we have a lot more talent this year than usual. I'm talking player wise, a lot more talent for us to watch. Years past, it was like, all right, Cooper Flag with Duke, and we'll check him out. And then we had like a few dudes and like a couple other schools that you kind of learned about during the tournament. Like, I forget his exact name, but on NC State, it was that big boy that was a dog. And then you had a couple of years ago, you had some more talent where it was just spread out amongst the whole entire league. Now you have like at Duke, you have Cameron Boozer. Michigan has a few dogs. You have UConn that's going to be super solid, but you have a lot of guys that are actually going to be starters, like for NBA
Aren't there
teams.
two
Like,
boozers at Duke, or is it one boozer at Duke?
so yeah, two boozers at Duke.
Is Cameron just way better than the other guy? Because I never hear about the other guy.
Yeah, Cameron's a dog. Cameron's kind of like that next what the NBA is right now, where you have a big guy that can handle the rock, he can facilitate, he can also rebound, pretty much do everything at all levels. So that's where Cameron Boozer is like a top 5 pick this year. Then you have AJ DeBanza, my guy, who's on an unranked team, but definitely going to be in the tournament and going to be an absolute monster with BYU. But then you have like Kansas, where you have like Darren Peterson, who's going to be a top 5 pick, but his issue was playing time and checking himself out.
He's a
because
freshman,
he was
right?
Like, he's a freshman, yeah, and he's
cramps, right?
Cramps. Without question, he's the best player in the country. He just doesn't like to play basketball. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
That's a strange thing, yeah.
It is weird, and so his draft stock has started to tank. But with all that being said, there's a lot of talent that I'm excited to watch in March Madness, and then obviously with the teams, like, rankings does not matter at all this year, so it'll be a good March Madness. My suggestion, stay away from Purdue. They are hot garbage once again. Do not trust their rankings. They'll probably lose in the first round.
They're 15th.
Again.
I mean,
they are
like
garbage. They've lost to like 3 straight unranked teams this year. They're garbage.
I'm glad.
Trust.
They're going to Final Four.
So they were like a top 5 team,
probably.
and they just fell apart.
So I don't think they were top 5. I think they were top 10. And I got to pull the exact teams that I can actually do that really quickly. The teams that they lost to was an unranked UCLA and an unranked Indiana. The other losses they have is against Ohio State, which is unranked, which was pretty recently.
But they're probably going to make the tournament.
They're going to make the tournament, yeah. And so, like, Michigan State they lost to, which is 13th ranked. They're a sleeper for me just because of how athletic they are and how good they are defensively, but they are not good offensively.
What rankings are you looking at, by the way?
I'm talking about what they were ranked when they played them.
Oh,
so
okay,
they
gotcha,
at the time Michigan State was ranked number 13.
Okay, because they're 8
So,
now.
Yeah.
So this,
they're
I'm glad
dogs.
you're saying this, and this is why, Matt. You'll notice it too if you're looking at the rankings. I pulled up the rankings because I don't have time to watch college basketball. I wish I did. It's not that
It's
I don't
tough.
like it. It's not like I think it's a bad product, although it is probably a pretty inconsistent product. But I would love to watch more college basketball, but it's just an investment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, oh, I wonder who the good teams are this year. Let me read you the top 5 here. Duke, Arizona, Michigan, UConn, and Florida. Also in the top 10, Michigan State. Also in the top 15, Gonzaga, Virginia, Kansas. I'm like, oh, same year. It's the same thing every year. Like,
Yep.
what is different about this? Like, it's the same, all the blue bloods. Like, that's just, I mean, I guess North Carolina at 17 is kind of a story. Are they just not that good this year? Or I don't know. Like, I hate when North Carolina's not good, by the way. Michael
But
Jordan's
here's the
team should be always good.
So here's the thing. North Carolina is sitting at 17, but they beat Duke when Duke was at their peak and beat them at the buzzer. So, like,
remember
that's
that,
where
yeah.
these top
That's
teams
one game I
are
saw, yeah.
losing big games. And that's where, like, yeah, it's on the road, but it's a big game. Every March Madness game is going to be big. So that's where Duke at 1 is like, maybe they're not as good as we think. Maybe they don't really show up in the moment. Maybe it's like how it was in the past where it's too many freshmen and they're not really experienced. That's where you turn to like an Arkansas or a St. John's where they potentially have more seniors, or teams like Vanderbilt or Tennessee or Miami that are older. So that's where it's
Do
exciting.
you
Where
buy
these
into
teams,
that? Do you think the older teams are better? You think
I definitely buy into that. Rebounding teams and older teams, I lean that way every time.
Really?
I lean the way of like, okay, this kid's been getting hot recently. He's not really. He'll probably be drafted in the second round, but he's our best player. I lean into those teams because for some reason, if you're gonna win in March Madness, you're not gonna be a first round pick. Like we keep seeing all these teams that are like Cinderella stories, and none of their players end up panning out in the NBA.
It's interesting. I don't want you to give me a sleeper because I think you need to see the matchups to really give you like a sleeper. But who's like a team who's like maybe an under the radar team to keep an eye on that you're not really ready to stamp? I think you just mentioned one. I thought you mentioned one team, but give me one team or BYU. You might have said.
Yeah. So for me, it's like BYU. Kentucky's interesting. Wisconsin is also interesting, but like for ranked, I'd for sure like Arkansas. I like just because like Calipari, I like him a lot, and I think that he puts together pretty good rosters. But Tennessee and Miami, those teams that are in those like 20 to 25, maybe not St. Louis, but those other teams are pretty solid. So my sleeper is probably gonna go with like Arkansas, Miami, or Tennessee, like those three.
When you say Miami, you mean the University of Miami in Florida, not Miami of Ohio, right? Who is undefeated,
that's actually
by the way.
Matt.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
Tell me you're a hockey guy without telling me you're a hockey guy. you're like, oh, you mean like Miami, Ohio? Yeah.
I went to hockey camp at Miami of Ohio.
It's a pretty cool school, isn't it? Like, isn't that rink pretty cool? I thought that rink was cool for some
party school.
This was literally 35 years ago.
Yeah.
It's probably a lot different than when I went.
Yeah. So we'll all do like our families both. We do we all do brackets. And how confident are you this year, Matt?
I have zero confidence. Like,
have you had confidence in this since we've started doing it? I've pretended.
No, I mean, I thought I knew what I was doing the first couple of times, and then college basketball has gotten so crazy because, I mean, a 15 beats a 2 every year. Like, that happens, like, at least once, every year. Now 16s are beating 1s. Like, that's not unheard of, which,
Has that happened once or twice? Has that happened twice?
It's happened at least twice. It's happened twice, I think.
Yeah. Virginia and Purdue, right?
Yeah, buddy. Purdue sucks.
And so I just...
Guys.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Anybody could win at any time. It's who's hot, and college basketball is really just the AAA of NBA basketball, right? Like it's just the feeder league
pretty
now.
Much.
And I think with the NIL money, the egos are being fed, and that lack of competitiveness from a vast majority of the stars is leaking into the NCAAs, which is just sad because March Madness is amazing. It's so fun to watch. And it's fun to gamble on, especially the over-unders, where, you're praying for that meaningless 3 at the end of the second half to, get the over. So I don't know.
That stuff is fun.
It could be anybody.
I have no idea. I don't know. I'm gonna wait to see the matchups and then like pretend that I know what I'm doing, but I will have no idea.
Well, I'll pick. You always pick a 15 over 2. Like there are certain things you have to do. I usually pick the 11s over the 7s.
The 12s over the 5s.
Yeah,
that's a sweet spot for me, I think.
Yeah, or the 11s over the 6s. Yeah.
Let's get into this because I'm giddy, just giddy. The Colts have placed the transition tag on Daniel Jones. So if they don't get a deal done, or he doesn't sign I guess if he does, this is what I've read. If Jones does not sign a competing offer sheet, he will earn a 1-year guaranteed salary of $37.8 million.
Yeah.
Damn.
He's gonna get paid 40 per. He's gonna get paid 40 per anyway. Right?
Do you want it to be by the Colts?
Yeah. I mean, who else do we have? Like, I guess you could try and go get Kyler Murray for pennies on the dollar. I don't know. Like, it's kind of a disaster. I don't trust this whole Achilles thing. That's something you can't rush back. And he's the type of quarterback that needs to have his Achilles. it sounds like Alec Pierce is heading out the door because I heard he wants.
Hold on, we'll get into that.
Okay.
We'll get into that.
So I'm already in my doom spiral, and it's not even the draft yet.
So, like, I get that he's going to get paid. I would think they would be very They would be very happy just giving him the 37.8 for a year and then seeing how it unfolds.
I think that's the prudent course.
I think so too, but my understanding is, and I'm not seeing it now, but I thought the reporting was that they were going to try and get a longer term deal done, and I was like, I'm not sure that's what. I can understand Jones camp pushing for it and thinking that like maybe we can get something done here, but
it's a gamble, right? Because
a good year, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to get $40 million over 5 years. Like it's not. It wasn't enough to do that in my mind.
Well, he was like what 9-1, 9-2, and
he was.
Yeah, he was, and leading the team like he should have been 9-1 because Adonai Mitchell can't hold on to the ball at an end of the end zone.
Oh my God, yeah,
that was nuts.
So I think what they were doing is they're thinking I'd rather pay him pay him longer term now for less than having him be really successful and then having to overpay to keep him, because you can't once you decide on him, you got to keep him. You can't do the switcheroo.
That's right. That's right. That's my kind of problem. There's two things that concern me about it, or three things. One, he's had a really good year before and then not had a really good year. And now he's injured, and he's a mobile quarterback. And are we going to get another great year, or are we going to get kind of like Daniel Jones coming back to the mean kind of a thing? Two is we just saw the Seahawks win with Sam Darnold, and I think people are going to be like, oh, Sam Darnold bouncing around the league, Daniel Jones bouncing around the league. We can do the same thing.
Not
Sam Darnold is a way more talented quarterback. And the third thing is, and I do think this is dangerous because you don't know where you're going to be picking and you don't know how the year is going to play out and all of these things. Next year has a chance to be one of the, if not the best quarterback.
We don't have a first-round pick next year.
Yeah. I know.
So it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant because we don't have a pick. So when you traded for Sauce, which I'm glad they did at the time because they were still in it at the time, that was your first-round pick for the next 2 years.
I know. I just wonder if you try to figure out a way. I don't know. That quarterback class is going to be so deep. I don't know. I don't know. I hear you. I hear what you're saying. They're kind of put themselves in a spot where they have to do this. But I would give up a lot of future capital to get back in to try and figure it out in 27.
I don't know what kind of capital they have. They'd have to
just keep trading future first. Listen, it's working for Les Snead.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could trade Jonathan Taylor. I'm sure you could get a first-round draft pick for him.
Can you get you should be able to get a first round. I don't know if you can, though.
I don't know if after next season, maybe after this season, you potentially could have, but I don't know. I think you'd have to replicate what he did in the first half of this season, where he was an MVP candidate.
Or Sauce. I mean, those are really the only two premier talents that are worth first-round picks on that team.
What about your boy on the O-line? Do you think a team would give a first-round pick for him?
For Quentin Nelson? No.
Yeah, no.
And he's awesome.
Not a guard, as I hear so often.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who else you guys could potentially.
Michael Pittman's overpaid and questionable number one.
Yeah,
Kenny
no
Moore,
Josh Downs.
He's on the backside of his career.
Yeah.
And all the rest of them are kind of a dime a dozen players. You don't have a Max Crosby or a Myles Garrett or anybody like that. We keep trying to draft them, and we keep missing. I wish Ballard was better at picking edge rushers. He's swung and missed at many guys. Kwity Paye, although Leatu Latu,
great name,
seemed to have flashes last year, but he's not going to be Myles Garrett.
Dude,
I mean, nobody's gonna be Myles Garrett. Yeah.
Yeah, like Reggie White and Myles Garrett. Those are those two guys. You know what I mean? Those are the guys up on that in that area.
Well, would you potentially? So Daniel Jones, let's say, comes back, is able to play. I don't know, week 3. I don't really know when he'd be able to be back because I don't know how long.
I mean, if he's Jason Tatum, he'd already be training.
That is true. He 100% would be. But. We see right now with the Niners and Mac Jones, where they're asking for a first-round pick for Mac Jones.
Are they really? I didn't see that.
That's what I saw. But that's what I was seeing on Twitter was that they were asking for a first-round pick, and Miami was offering a second, and the Niners were like, "Nah." Like they want to keep Mac Jones, and that's what it seems like, that they want to keep Mac Jones. But like Daniel Jones, let's say, has a big year, you are able to sell him for a first-round pick to get in and end up getting a young quarterback. Is that even close to possible?
No, because I think they'll see the younger quarterback still as better options.
Fair.
I think that's the way that would play out in that scenario, which is interesting to me. I do think the quarterback market's wild. I had not heard the Mac Jones thing, but I do keep hearing about how Malik Willis is going to be the next great quarterback in this league, and I'm like,
I keep seeing that too, and I'm like, what are we on?
Ridiculous. And he played. I think he played 3 games, and I forget who said it, but he was like, you understand how like difficult it is to make sure that quarterback is good every single week for a full season versus just 3 games and most of them being at home. Like that is drastically different.
And
like it's crazy
to put
me.
out, the more they get. And mind you, I'll say this. I'm trying to figure out right now. I'm looking him up. I said that, like when he came out, I thought Malik Willis should have been considered a first-round guy, and he went up going in the 3rd round, I think. I'll find it right now. In the 3rd round. He was drafted in the 3rd round. I thought he had a chance to be a first-round guy. I really liked Malik Willis coming out. I thought he was going to be a good player. I mean, that being said, I haven't seen anything to make me think that he's going to be like the people should be salivating over getting this guy and spending the kind of money that it sounds like it's going to take to sign him and all of that stuff. That to me is just, it's fascinating. Like I'm just so like that's just speaks to the quarterback market. That's what this quarterback market is, where Mac Jones and Malik Willis are considered guys. Like I don't understand that. Like I just whatever. There is some interesting receiver news too. We'll get into that right now. Patriots are going to release Stefon Diggs after 1 year, and I'm bummed about it.
Yeah,
but when you look at the money,
he's a bit of a distraction in the locker room too, just a smidge.
Well, he's got those issues, and then I'm trying to see if it's here. Yeah, his cap charge is going to go from 10.5 this year to 26.5, and I don't think he's a 26.5 guy. And I loved him. Like, I mean, I'm not going to talk about the stuff that is unproven off the field like Matt. He's willing to like go dip his toes in the water. As far as we know, Stefon Diggs is a great guy.
But I'm just saying it's a distraction. I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm saying it's a distraction.
I'll let the case play out. You know what I mean? Like I'm not here to judge either way. That being said, 32 years old, had a knee injury 2 years ago, 26.5. We need that money. We need that money to go get Alec Pierce.
Exactly. I mean, I think even when we just think of the postseason with Steph Diggs, I know it was difficult because it was awful weather and we weren't really throwing the ball, but like he didn't show up in the playoffs at all. Like in the Super Bowl, I know we're going to put a lot of blame on that Super Bowl on Drake May. Like there were dudes that were open. I think Diggs was one of those dudes that was open when you looked at the replays, but like didn't show up in the Super Bowl at all either. So everything off the field, like aside, like he still didn't really produce when we needed him to produce. Like he played well in the regular season, but we got him to 1,000 yards because we just force fed him right at the end to get him there. And then postseason, he didn't do anything for us. So I think going younger is the move. Like you mentioned, Alec Pierce, he's 25 years old. He's the same age as me. Like I would rather a dude that's 25 than 32. And what's insane with Alec Pierce, and I saw this morning, is the dude had 1,000 yards with under 50 receptions on the year, and he averages 20+ yards after catch. Like that's insane.
I don't know if it's
like
yards after catch or yards per catch.
Yards per catch. Yeah.
Yeah, he's led the league the last 2 years.
It's insane.
Was like, I think he actually intentionally got kicked out of the last game of the year the last game of the year last year, just because he wanted to make sure that he didn't catch any short balls and lose the average.
Which was ridiculous. Him getting kicked out was so ridiculous.
It was ridiculous.
Because he brushed the umpire, right?
Yeah.
But it might have helped him. Like if he caught like 4 more balls for like 18 yards in that game, who knows? It might have cost him the
I'm sure that's a stat he's really paying attention to during the game as they're struggling to make the playoffs.
I'm sure his agent was. I think
his agent definitely was.
Were they not out of the playoffs by the last game?
No. They had a couple of different options.
I don't think so.
I think the last couple of games they had to win out and have help.
Yeah.
And they were close. Phillip Rivers was throwing some ducks, but they were still staying. They were hanging in a little bit. And Riley Leonard wasn't bad towards the end.
Matt with the slow blink. With the slow blink for Phillip Rivers.
You got to do what you got to do. But if you have to go to Phillip Rivers at the end of the season, that tells you that you have no plan. Or your plan was so bad that it just is unmanageable.
It would just amaze me if Ballard just started, like, it would be so incredible if Ballard just started throwing, like, just started giving looks to old retired quarterbacks just to, and just watch
Matt
Matt have a
Hasselbeck.
meltdown.
Yeah, bring in Hasselbeck, bring in
I sat next
Matt
to Matt
Ryan.
Hasselbeck on the ride back from Indy.
Did you?
Matt Hasselbeck, good dude, really good dude. Like, he was like sitting behind me, and a couple wanted to sit together, so he moved and ended up sitting next to me. And then he was like kind of funny because he spilt his water all over himself, but instead of like being like angry about it, he was laughing and making fun of himself. Like, it was just, he seemed like a really good guy. But I was thinking like even worse. Like, Matt Hasselbeck. Matt Hasselbeck looks like he's in pretty good shape, man. Matt Hasselbeck doesn't look like Phillip Rivers. I'll tell you that. It'd be great. It'd be great if they brought back like a Jeff George, who is like, he's got to be 65 at this point. Like a Jeff George would be. Oh, that would really tickle me, man. That would make my day.
Curtis
one
Painter.
other thing I wanted to get to. What's that? Yes.
Bring back Curtis Painter.
Exactly. These are the guys that we could bring back, to see if Kellen Moore will come out of the coaching to do it. That being said, there's one other move that I want to talk about. That's the Trent McDuffie move. The Rams trade a first this year, a fifth and sixth this year, and a third next year for the corner Trent McDuffie, who is young. I think he's 25 or 26. He's at the end of his rookie contract. I love the deal. I think I love the deal for both teams, to be honest with you. Like, I just think that the Rams are closer right now, and they get a proven commodity. And I've talked to you guys about this a lot. I feel like draft picks are sometimes overvalued.
I 100% agree.
And not the Chargers, Jesus. The Rams general manager, Les Snead, has a... Do you remember what Les Snead wore when they won the Super Bowl? You remember the T-shirt he had?
No.
It was a picture of him. Sorry, Drew, if your kids are listening, but he had traded away all their picks to get like players, to get like proven players, and it was just his picture. And underneath it was a quote. It said, "Fuck them picks." That was like their motto. That was their thing. They were like, and if you look at like I think the only first round pick since like maybe 2017 that he's used is on Jared Verse, and it's a home run.
Yep.
Like he hit on the one he used, and then the other ones he's just used to get players, and I kind of like it. I love the idea. Like, this corner class, this draft class is okay. There's some depth. There's two guys at the top that are pretty good. One guy at the top that's pretty good. But you don't know. Like, it's still.
Well, they're not at the top of the draft pick. They're picking what, 29th?
Well, the corners aren't good enough this year. Well, they traded the 29th. They kept the 13th, I believe. They had two picks this year. I forget why that was. Atlanta, I think, traded with them to move up to get. I think Atlanta made a trade with them last year to get the two edge rushers. So they had to make to get back in the first round to get James Pierce. I think Atlanta gave them this year's pick. So they had two. They gave up the second one, so they're still in the teens somewhere. Do you know where? Are you looking it up, Ty, or no?
I'm looking them up right now, but looking at the full trade is just insane to me. Like, they get Trent McDuffie, but give up the first round pick at number 29, fifth round pick, sixth round pick, and then a 2027 third round pick as well.
Yeah. I called Todd out on that too. He said if you trade away any picks from 2027, it's a fireable offense. And then he said, I only meant the first two rounds. I thought that was obvious.
But you're right. The Rams still have their 13th overall pick.
Yeah, 13th overall pick.
Draft.
Picking there, they have a real good chance of getting the top corner on the board. They might not. I mean, it's a little iffy, but they have like the top two or three guys are going to be there if they wanted to stay there and get a guy. But it's the Snead approach is interesting to me. I like it. I like going out, especially in their situation. Is that Stafford's an older quarterback? You don't know how much longer. Like there's I don't like the closing window conversations because like so much stuff happens and roster turnover is so high and all that stuff. But that being said, I mean, they have a quarterback that's going to play maybe 1 or 2 more years. Go out and fix your number one need and be aggressive about it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like even just looking at defenses across the league, like I feel like having your like premier corner is the right move. Like we see with the Patriots with Gonzo, we see with the Broncos, like consistently being able to like never worry about Pat Surtain. If they're matching up against AJ Brown, they know they're putting Pat Surtain on him and they're going to limit him as much as possible. Like even JC Horn for Carolina, like Carolina's defense
Houston,
stepped
Darryl
up.
Singleton, Daryl
Yeah.
Singletary, is that his name?
Only when he's not playing Kayshon Boutte though, because Kayshon Boutte has caught two
Got
big
him a
tutties
couple
on him.
times. Yeah, a couple
Yeah.
times. Like that dude's
But that's where like I like that move because you end up getting, and that's why we originally like the sauce move is like you go and get your guy at corner and then you set and forget. Like that's your guy unless he tears his Achilles. Like then you're chilling. But I like that move for them. That we've always critiqued like their defense, or at least I've heard people critique their defense on like their passing game being garbage. But I like it. I'm cool with it.
Nice. Yeah. Matt, any thoughts on that trade, or are you good?
I think it's a good trade. It's just the complete opposite strategy of Bill Belichick, which is interesting because Bill Belichick would always trade back for more picks.
Yeah. I also, what's interesting that you bring up Belichick is if you're going to look at it, the Chiefs and their potential ability to catch the Patriots and do what the Patriots did in terms of that dynasty and the way the dynasty worked out for Brady, there was that big gap between the first three and the second three with New England. And it feels like, and no teams are alike. We'll see what happens here. Kansas City fans don't get all uppity. But it feels like Kansas City is going into that portion of this. It feels like Travis Kelce might be back for another year, but like even if he is, like they're just that Kansas City. It's almost like it's become too much for Patrick Mahomes to overcome. Chris Jones is still playing like one of the best in the league, if not the best in the league. But how long does that last at his age? So for them to get more picks and get more bullets to try and get guys, and I know it's tough to give up McDuffie, but you're going to have to make tough decisions about who you're going to pay, and they clearly don't value corners because they traded L'Jarius Sneed after he had a great year the year before. So, like, if you don't value him, you don't see that's not how you're going to build your team. All of that stuff, makes sense on their end too, I think.
Do you think they can get Sadiq though to replace Kelce
at 9?
9. Do you think Sadiq goes to 9?
I don't think I don't think he will. I think he should be considered. Okay. I really do. If you were going to take Colson, Loveland, and Tyler Warren where you took them last year, I think you should consider taking Sadiq. And I think that Sadiq, we had this conversation on the McShay show. This was it's funny that you went back to this, but like, where would you take Sadiq based on where the other two guys went last year? And McShay has Sadiq firmly in the third for that. But for me, I think Sadiq's right there with those two guys. Like he's that good in my mind. Speaking of some draft stuff, I'm going to give We're going to give Indianapolis a quick review. First of all, not fair to Indianapolis. I got, and you can hear in my voice now, like sick. Like sick, the sickest I've been in a long time. And to the point where like I was on the show with McShay, and like my face was watering, and the camera guys were like, "We're not going to zoom in on you tonight. Is that okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's probably for the best."
Do they zoom in on you anyway?
We were like all laughing about it, but like no, honestly, there's a guy who works with this named Jake who's unbelievable. Like I would come down. He's like a great camera guy, like a logistics guy, like editor. Like he's like just super talented at producing a show, anything you need, right? And I would come down and he have some like lemon ginger tea thing made for me that he put together, and I was like, dude. The people we work with are pretty incredible. So it was like super nice, and everyone was just making fun of each other, but they were also like, stay away from me and all that. And then just not to go on to this too much, but they knew that Stella was sick before I left. And so now, sure enough, a bunch of these guys are like, dude, I'm feeling it in my throat. Like, I can tell, like, blah, blah, blah. And like, they're all like, tell Stella I said thanks and like all this stuff. So it's pretty fun. So just to put this in perspective, it's not fair to Indy that I was so banged up. I didn't enjoy it this year as much as I did last year, probably because of that. St. Elmo Steakhouse. You have to go there, right? Like, I'll say this. It's not the best steak in the city. I don't think it's really even close. There's some really good steaks in that city. Like, there's some places you can eat. But I had already had the shrimp cocktail, Tyler, and it still caught me off guard. Like, there's still that minute, because it's like straight horseradish, And good horseradish though, like it burns clean, like it's really good. But there's that minute you're like am I gonna catch my breath here? Like this is like, it like clears you out immediately.
Right there.
Yeah, and it's awesome. Like it's a unique thing, and it's awesome. And the servers there are incredible, and the vibe there is awesome because it's just like the most well-known place. It's like NFL legend, like legendary in NFL circles.
It's like where a lot of the backroom conversations happen, right? It's like where you plant seeds for trades in the future.
Yeah, last year, like Jerry Jones had rented out. You could hear all the Cowboys guys downstairs. There's like a room you could walk down to, and you could hear them all down there, like getting loud and all that. Like it's just like, there's a lot of stuff that's happened in that city and also in that restaurant. Yeah, so it's very cool, and there are all the pictures on the wall. It's like you have to go, I think, at least once a week. The guys from the Ringer Fantasy Show, who are hilarious, thought it would be funny to eat dinner every night while they were there, and not the move. Not the move. You need some variety, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's a place called like Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse, which is like right underneath the hotel we stayed at, right by the Conrad. That place is awesome. Like, it doesn't have the same kind of mystique to it, but that place was awesome. It's a good walking city. It just feels like it's smaller than maybe it is. Like I walked probably from, you would know this, Matt, like Monument Circle is where the hotel is, down to like where the Pacers play, and down a few blocks the other way, and then back towards Lucas Stadium, all that. Like it's a pretty good loop, but it feels like it's only about 12 blocks.
Yeah, it's not
is that
big.
right? Like
yeah, it's not.
There's a ton of stuff. It's not like there's nothing to do, but it's super condensed. It's kind of an interesting city like that.
Did you walk through the mall?
I did not walk through the mall because I was.
That's because there's nothing there. Yeah, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
They're converting it to apartments, I think. And then, how many homeless did you see?
I was going to talk about that in a second, but I talked to a waitress at dinner one night, and I was like, "What's the deal? Like, I got to get something for my daughter. I always bring her something home. Like, is the mall good?" And she was like, "It's not. Like, there's nothing there." And I was like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "Yeah, they're redoing it. It's supposed to bring Indianapolis back." And I was like, "Oh, does Indianapolis need to come back?" Like, I wasn't aware that it was like in that kind of a spot. And she just laughed and walked away. And I was like, I don't know what that means. I don't know what the answer was for that question.
Got played.
But I will say this there, and I don't know if it's anecdotal. Like, I don't know if it's like just my experience. Like, I don't know. It seemed like there's a lot more homeless people just this year. It seems like in a year there was a lot more, and unwell. Like, not like just people who are on hard times and out there. Like, there was a couple guys that kind of got aggressive. And it was like, oh, like, yep, uh-huh.
Drugs are bad, Steve. Drugs are bad.
And mental health is bad too, man.
Yes, it is.
I mean, they were yelling at me about like, "Are you good? Are you good?" And I was like, "I'm good, thanks. I'm just trying to find CVS right now because my face is melting." But it was a thing. It was sad. There's a lot of the homeless population that looks like it's exploding a little bit. Is that the case? Like,
yeah, the homeless have been a problem for years. And they are aggressive. Like, they're aggressive homeless, like scary, like, please don't approach me.
Yeah. And that's scary. There's a safety issue there, so I shouldn't make light of it. But I will say this, I almost prefer them to the religious freaks that want to convert me to everything. That's a thing in Indy too, man.
The Jehovah's Witnesses or the other different ones?
Which Jehovah's Witnesses? No, this was the Baptists. This was the Baptists. And I was just walking down the street, and this guy, like, well-dressed guy, and with this well-dressed woman, they look very nice. And they're like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, look at these guys. Indiana hospitality, here we go." And they're like, "Can we just hand you this?" And I was like, "No." As soon as someone says that, I didn't even look down. I was like, I know this isn't like a TJ Maxx flyer. And it's like, he's like, "This is why the sales pitch is always like, just want to let you know that Jesus loves you," or whatever. And then you open it up, and it's just like, these are the 50 reasons you're going to hell. And it's like, it's a very mixed messaging. Like, they're like very like open and like kind and nice when you're talking to them, and then you look at the literature, and it's like, you are literally going to hell if you don't change your life today. And it's like, I think I'm just going to go to Taco Bell now, if that's all right. It's just like, it's ridiculous.
Did your crew go to the Working Man's Friend?
We did not, but I have to ask you about another place. I told everyone about it, Matt, and if I wasn't sick, we would have definitely gone and gotten a burger, and I think next year we will. But I was telling everyone I could. I was like, my buddy says the Working Man's Friend burger. It was like a 5 or 10 minute Uber ride, which is nothing.
Yeah.
But like, these people want to walk to everything. Do you know what milk tooth is?
No.
You got to try milk tooth. Apparently, it's some kind of like newer diner type thing, I guess. But it's supposed to be really good. Everyone liked it. Again, I was in my room like trying to stay alive. So there's things I missed this year that I was kind of bummed about. But that being said, Tyler, as you're just staring off in the distance, you've checked out.
No, I looked up Milktooth.
Oh, nice. Is it like a diner?
It looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks like I can't even think of the word. It's like when they make fun of like the new burger joints where it's like this giant burger and it's served on like a cutting board and it's like a $35 burger. Like it looks like a bougie diner, but looks very good. But
yeah.
Looks like a bougie diner.
Also, listen to this, guys, because you guys both know that I did not fly for years. I get on my flight home from Indianapolis, and the flight attendant walks up to me and says, "How many times have we flown together now? It's so nice to see you." And I was like, wow. Like, I am now officially...
That's kind of gangster.
I'm like a frequent flyer guy.
Maybe you're just noticeable. Maybe you're just noticeable.
Well, she said...
I wonder why.
She brought up the number.
Did you tell Iris this story? Because
I did immediately as soon as I got home. I like to let her know. Still got it. Yeah, I told her right away. And also, I am I don't know what it is at Delta, but I'm some kind of a big shot there with the frequent flyer miles. I don't have to pay for my bags anymore. Let's put it that way, Ty, huh?
What a dog.
That's how you know you made it to the big time.
Automatic upgrades, boys.
Damn.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, they've got their hooks in you now.
I know.
Like, I can't fly not Delta. I'm only on Delta.
I guess I'll take 3 connecting flights to get to New Jersey. Fine. Do you want to ask questions about the combine, Ty? This was the time where you really would have been a smooth transition, but you're not saying anything.
No, I honestly really didn't have much questions about the combine because we peppered you last year. I feel like Matt had a bunch for you last time we did an episode like this. But I mostly wanted to know, like, did you plant any seeds with any GMs? Did you try to get Elliott Wolf to think in a certain way?
No.
Anything like that? Why not?
Because
you know who's back in New Hampshire and Vermont and Massachusetts. You're our only connection to Elliott Wolf. We need you to do stuff like that.
To do what? To
get the players we want, like Max Crosby.
Oh, so I should be telling him who to take and all that stuff?
Yeah,
Okay.
you plant the seed. Like, hey, why don't you toss him a first-round pick?
I will say all the GMs were great. I'm not going to name names, but some of them were open to they shared their contact information, which I thought was really cool. Very supportive of what we do, all of that. That being said, I'm really good at what I do. I know I'm really good at what I do. I've done it long enough and spent enough time on it to know that I'm good at it. I'm not a GM. I'm an evaluator.
But I am.
I would be a pretty good scout if you put me in the league. I really believe that. But if I had to start making decisions like these guys have to make decisions, I would be exactly like these guys are, and that's you'd make mistakes. These guys have all made mistakes, and I would make mistakes too. And they're going to make more mistakes. It's too hard of a job, man. It's so hard of a job. It's funny. We want this player and that player, but we don't know what their agents are asking for. We don't know how it's going to affect the locker room. We don't know all of these things that these guys know. And that's why I keep going back to this. I keep talking about the Elliott Wolf thing where I asked him about Will Campbell and going forth, and people were like, wow, you really went at him and you didn't back away. And I was like, yeah. And I'm proud that I did that, but I also like his answer more than my question. Because he was honest and he wasn't huffy puffy about it. And he wasn't like this or that. And he was like, we like the player. We think he's going to get better. And yeah, he didn't play well at the end. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that he did. His answer was awesome. So yeah, I know you're kind of joking around, but these guys know way more about what they need to do. It's funny to Monday morning quarterback, and I like to do it too, man. I will. It's like with the Bruins, I will shit talk that management team all day long, night in, night out about what they're doing. I don't know anything about hockey. I don't know anything about what they're trying to do, and I still do it. But when I'm sitting down with these guys and they're human beings and they start talking about their kids and their families and about what's going on in their life off the camera, and then I'm not like, hey man, do you imagine telling Elliott Wolf he should get Max Crosby and he would look you right in the eye and be like, oh really? No shit.
I think.
Thanks.
I think
Who's Max Crosby?
He's a sleeper over in Vegas. But what you should have done is you should have asked him if he looks up to Brad Stevens, because they're, an hour and a half north of him, if he looks up to Brad Stevens at all, being that amazing of a GM and
Dude,
the moves that he makes.
I know you're joking around. That would have been a great question. It would have been a great question of.
That might have been a little bit of an ego punch, though. He might have taken that like,
Tyler,
why did I look up to that?
You just got us another question for the decision-making series, though.
Let's
There's
go,
only
dude.
32. There was only 32 NFL GMs. Do you ever reach out to GMs of other sports?
Yeah, because they have like
and see what their
Missoula.
approaches are and what you could take from it, and they always do, right? Like Belichick
Yeah,
always-
Missoula pulls
Belichick
up with
used to say
Vrabel and
Francona.
stuff. So
And that's
like
head
you see
coaches.
all those dudes.
It's head coaches, but I know that Belichick used to talk to Stevens all the time. Like they used to talk.
Oh,
to
really?
They have a
Damn.
relationship. Yeah. So that's a great question. Do you ever reach out
Look at me.
to other sports? And we know that they do already. Like I think Eric DeCosta. I hope I'm not wrong about this. Eric DeCosta, the GM for the Ravens, during that interview talked about how they got some stuff from the Orioles and the baseball team. So like they do.
Yeah, that's valid.
My question is, Steve, it seems like every year the combine, everybody like breaks records and is better than they're more athletic than the year before. And I'm like, is it because they're specifically training for these drills and so they know exactly what they need to do to break these records? I mean, they're obviously world-class athletes. I'm not saying that they're not, but like I've read somewhere that, one guy was like, it was a guy from Indiana. I think it was on the McShay newsletter. He said, this guy didn't run because he hadn't trained for it yet. And if you run a bad time, it does worse than not running it at all.
To get into that specifically really quickly, like I think that I think it was Omar Cooper. I think Omar Cooper ran. Elijah Surratt maybe didn't run. That's maybe the guy who didn't run.
Did Pons run?
Well. Oh, no, it was Pons.
Yeah, I think it was about Pons.
Pons, who had a 43.5-inch vertical, dude.
It's insane.
5'9", dude. Just spud webbing it out there. Like
That's like 3/4 of his height.
It's unbelievable how his ability to lead.
That's my vert.
But that being said, the college football, no. That being said, the college football schedule has changed so much that everything's got pushed back that I actually think there's something to be said for that. Like these kids, they're on a different timeline. If you play in that game, you're on a little bit of a different timeline and you shouldn't rush it and run. I also think that contributes to some of these numbers that people don't talk about. Like I think, and I don't have all this to back up, but I don't remember, this is just off the top of my mind, I don't remember players opting out of running the 40 when I first started covering the NFL. I remember them, you got invited, you ran. So now you look at it and you're saying, oh, this is the fastest defensive line class. Or you could say I don't know what the running backs were, but only 10 running backs ran the 40 at the combine this year. And some of that's injuries, but some of that's guys I'll wait for my pro day. So that's going to drive all those times down because only the fast guys are going to run there because they know they're going to have a great time. So are they all getting faster and bigger and stronger, or is it just that only the fastest, biggest, and strongest are running? So there's some of that, I think, in there. I also think that the training is there's the opposite, right? There's your first instinct is that the training, nutrition, even just the athletes, just the evolution of athletes is that they're getting faster and stronger and all that stuff. I don't think they're getting bigger. I mean, they kept saying that on the broadcast, but these guys are not getting bigger, which I like. I like a smaller, faster game of football. I think it makes for a more entertaining game than let's put a bunch of 250-pound linebackers and 240-pound fullbacks on the field and just butt heads. I don't really enjoy that as much.
When you say bigger, are you saying height or are you talking about weight or both?
Weight. The frames are getting – I think the frames for offensive linemen are actually getting bigger. You're seeing a lot of 6'7" guys at tackle, which is tall to me. 6'5". Oh, God. I don't know.
Let it rip. I have a follow-up question to that, though. So with all of them, seeming to be more athletic now, is the hype actually real, though? I feel like, me especially, I fall for it every single year. I fall for the combine hype. I fall for the draft hype. they were. I was trying to find it just now, but they were showing like Kenyon Sadiq, and they were like, he runs just as fast as so and so. He's as big as so and so.
Jameer Gibbs, not Jamar.
Jameer Gibbs. Yeah, and then but then it was like Sony Styles. They did the same thing. So like, is the hype actually real? Like, is that like, are we really looking at that and like, holy crap, like this is a freak specimen, like he's gonna be legit in the NFL, or is it like, no, it's cool that you're a really cool athlete, man. Like we've seen dudes like. I forget his name, but he was a wide receiver for the Bengals that had the crazy 40 time, and then John Ross didn't really do anything in the NFL. So, are these dudes actually legit, or is it just like these just are freak of nature dudes?
They are better athletes in most cases than they are football players. Almost. So again.
So is that a bad thing then?
We're basically like regurgitating Todd's McShay report, which is really good. I know I'm supposed to sell it as part of the show about part of the McShay show. I know that I am. If you guys are like into it, and if anyone listening to it is into it, like his stuff is really good about the stuff. Like he talks about comparing Sadiq to Gibbs and the miles per hour on the field, which I think is super interesting. But he also talks about the guys who have ran the fastest 40s at the combine historically, and it's not a who's who in the NFL.
Right.
Man. It's a lot of guys that just wash out and don't make it and don't end it. Like running the fastest 40 at the combine is always fun, and it's cool, and the energy in the building and all that stuff is awesome. I love that aspect of it. It does not translate. It does not translate. There was the wide receiver from Alabama, Jeremy Bernard, I think quietly like just had an awesome combine because he ran a 4.48. It's a really good 40. And he's one of the only guys who's above 6 feet, and he was above 200 pounds, and his tape's awesome. And I'm like, that's a guy. These like 6 foot wide receivers are now blowing up like JSN. Like these guys can now these are the good receivers in the league. They don't have to be 6'4" or 6'5" or whatever it is. And I'm looking at him like, yeah. And all these other guys are running like 4.35s. I mean, there was so many guys under 4.4 that was like silly. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, that's great. That's good, and you can use it. And if it translates, that's all awesome. Like, it's not a bad thing to be fast in football. But, like, if you can't get out of breaks, you can't get off press, you can't catch the ball, you can't read a defense, like, none of it matters. Like, none of it matters.
I don't know the name of the drill, so hopefully you do. When the wide receivers have to run in a straight line and they keep turning. And I love that drill, and watching Jordan Tyson do that drill, I was like, this dude's a dog. And so I want the Patriots to draft him. But I was like, that drill, I feel like, tells me so much I mean, it doesn't really tell me a lot when I'm, like, watching them in the NFL, where I'm like, oh, it makes sense because of the gauntlet. But, like, if I'm watching a dude and he's like this the whole time, I'm like, oh, he sucks. And then I move on from there. But Jordan Tyson was, like, straight line. I was like, that's sick. And he's a big dude.
That they have actually started timing it because they think that drill actually translates way more than a lot of other things. And you know who had an unbelievable gauntlet run at the combine?
Kayshon Boutte.
Puka. Puka
Fair.
Nacua had an unbelievable gauntlet. I like it because it's like drama. I don't think anyone got hit in the face this year, but most years at least 3 or 4 guys get tagged right in the face. Like they turn the wrong way, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm supposed to be." It's like, "Oh no, this way," and then boom. And it's just like, "Oh no!" You're like, you feel bad, but you're also kind of like, you don't watch NASCAR to see guys win. You watch NASCAR for the wrecks. So it's kind of like that kind of a vibe to it. And also, I think they had some scouts throwing. Like, you don't know who's throwing the ball. And I think they're now intentionally putting guys in there who aren't great throwers because they're like, let's see how they adjust to the bad ball. And some of these throws these kids are getting running through the gauntlet of, like, having to, like, reach back with one hand. If you watch it, like, 5-10 years ago, it was like bing, bing, bing. Now it's like over here and down there. I don't know if the quarterbacks are starting to suck or whatever, but it's gotten way harder.
The quarterbacks probably suck. They all run now, so their accuracy is probably downhill.
It is a totally different vibe, by the way, too. Like you couldn't get into that building. Like it was like a church. It was silent. Now you have all these fans in there booing Carson Beck as he's throwing because they played Indiana in the playoff game. And it's like, dude, this is like really kind of an event. Like it's not just
That's amazing.
They're like marketing this in a very different way than they did. Like it was literally impossible to get into that place. That part of it's cool. Like it's whatever. I think a lot of decision makers were leaving even before the drills started because they're like, I'm gonna get the numbers and I'm gonna get video of the drills. Like it's really, I don't need to be here. It's more about for the interviews. Which, by the way, did you see Mekhi Lemon at the podium?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a little weird.
He's talking to like reporters about him,
He was staring into your soul.
and he was like, "It's someone called it romantic, or like trying to be like."
He thought he was like Usher on the stage.
Yeah,
It was
like
weird.
a boy. He was. It looked like a bad boy band thing.
Yeah, like a bad
From,
R&B like
from
performance.
the '90s, where he's just like trying to look in their eye and like sway a little bit. It was like, dude, what, what is happening here? Like, what is going on right now? That's why the combine's great.
That's awesome.
All right, we're
So
at
next-
an hour. We did it.
Yeah. Next up's a draft, right?
Next up is the draft. Six weeks, I think I fly to LA. Got a new studio out there that I'm really kind of should be interesting to check out.
How many more people do you have to do write-ups on?
I don't even want to talk about it. I kid. That's an off-air conversation. But it's always like that this year. I don't like to talk about it.
Okay.
And a lot of it's like I actually sat down because I have not been feeling well. Obviously, the workload, the production hasn't been what I want it to be. Although I think tomorrow we're gonna ratchet it up big time. And I was like, I know all these guys. Like, just knock it off. It's like, stop. Like, because I like to go back and all. And it's like, dude, just. I spent so much time making sure that like everything's buttoned up. When the reality is, like, I might be better off going with, what I already know instead of like trying to, it gets too like
Yeah.
mechanical. You know what I mean? Like it's too like, and especially now. Like it's not when ESPN hired me, it was like ESPN the magazine was a big deal, and they wanted like 500 words on each player. Now it's like, dude, no one, like they don't have the time. They don't have the time. They don't have the attention span. If you get them 4 sentences, I think that's what we shoot for is about 4 sentences. One of them might be a stat, and then they're like what they're really good at, and then get out. I think people are pretty happy with that. And
It's like tweets now.
It is. And you know what? I don't mind it. I think it's actually good. Like if you're gonna have a conversation, I still do all the background stuff, and I have notes for days. Like I mean, I think I have like 150 pages of notes in my computer right now. Like you could do that, and like I could go on for forever, talk about plays and games and all this with GMs. But like that's not our audience. It's the guy who's sitting at the bar and being like, hey, my team just drafted someone in the 5th round. Is he going to be able to help us? That's all they want to know. They don't want to know, like, all like what happened in the 3rd game of, for example, I was talking about the Oregon safety on the show the other day, and I was like, I went back and watched his freshman tape when he was at Purdue, and I was watching him play single high safety. It was like, okay, nope. Like, it's good for the show. It's good what we do when we have those conversations. But when a guy gets drafted and you start going on like that, they're like, "What's like? Get to the point, bro."
It's like that hockey announcer that I can't stand. That it's like he played his squirts for the Torrington, Connecticut Tornadoes and was the leading scorer, and then went on to Pee Wee. And I'm like, nope, I don't care. Like, stop talking.
Yeah,
I forget.
I can see his face.
I got a terrible voice
Pierre?
too. I can't stand him. I think it is Pierre.
But
Pierre
Dan Comer,
LeBrun. Yeah, I don't know.
something like that. Dan Comer's a producer on the other show. Talks about how, like, the really good ones know which notes to leave out. Like, you don't never empty the bag on everything that you have. It just it doesn't make sense. Be like, go with what you like believe the most and what tells the story the most, and then you can leave other shit out.
Pierre McGuire.
Yeah, LeBron, close.
Yeah, something like that.
McGuire, LeBron.
Yeah, French, Scottish. What's the difference?
So Ty, it's going to be me and you the next 2 weeks. Although Matt has suggested that we get a third mysterious co-host, which I guess we could talk about. We could see if anyone wants to do it. Feels kind of dirty.
It
Doesn't
does.
feel right. It doesn't feel right. But God knows you can't carry a show. So
That's not true.
Just listen to the first 2.
Yeah, dog.
yeah, dog. But anyways, that was a good one. We'll see you next week somehow, some way. Like whatever. Matt's gone Mormon. He's going to Salt Lake City. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, buddy.
Thanks a lot, work.
He's got his magical underwear on, I guess. Tyler's like, what's happening? All right, that's it. I'll see you guys next time.
Bye, boys.